Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I hope we're all having a very good day.
Woo!
I know that I am. Always love Fridays.
Always love
Jordan, how
Fridays. I got a couple of Heinekens under the table right now.
do you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's the Heinies are coming out.
I
I
was
might
going to
have
say, you
a
getting
couple of
started. You
glasses.
getting started right after this call?
Oh, you bet. But I might start during the call.
Oh, that's good stuff, man. Yeah, I'm sure I'll be taking a trip down to the LCBO as well, picking up a couple brews. Rob, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. On this morning's live, guys, we wanted to, we realized there's a lot of new people here, right? And by new, I even mean like last 6 months. And building PA's been, it's been quite a ride. Like a lot has happened. There's been a lot of changes, a lot of pivots. There was one point, maybe in our first 2 months, where Jordan and I sat down and said, "It's over. The dream is dead." And so we thought it would be fun to, share with you guys the story of how we got Predicting Alpha to where it is now. And also maybe we could chat about, where PA's headed in the future too, right? Sort of how this whole thing came about and where we're headed. What do you think,
Oh,
Jordan?
yeah, it's a great story, man. I think, every business building a business is like, everyone has unique stories. And I think this is really, it's really good to share our story. It's
Yeah, and we have
exciting.
a lot of entrepreneurs in the group too, so they
Yeah.
probably like it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Sure.
So what
So
do you think, Sean? Like yeah, I guess, what are you thinking? How,
I'm just trying to think here. Like, it's funny, man. Like, we started off, both of us were sort of like real noobs to entrepreneurship. Like we'd never, like I built a couple like small things in the past, but it never been anything like super serious. And I remember we spent maybe so we had an idea for this like earnings software, right? It was strictly earnings, and it was basically some stuff that Jordan was using for his own trading. And we were like, maybe we could monetize this. And we were like, oh man, people love earnings. This thing will sell 1,000 units in the first week.
yes, I remember that,
That was
man.
legitimately what we thought. And Chris is like, startup origin story. Man, there's no alpha there. Why would I listen to this? Who knows,
Oh,
man? Maybe alpha giveth somewhere in the story, But yeah, basically that didn't happen. It didn't happen at all. And we made that common mistake of, spending months trying to brainstorm this thing. And when we released it, not one sale. Nobody bought it. It was basically the earnings section of the terminal.
right.
And then what do we do from there? That's when we started chatting with like Darren and stuff, right?
Um, yeah, that was when we initially started chatting with Darren. I think or no. I think it was we were way before that, man. We're like, I said, remember I approached you. I said, hey, Sean, I got this software. What do you what do you think about it? And you're like, this could, maybe we could sell this, or maybe people will like this. And we sat down and we chatted about, who's in the current space right now. It's also very related to trading. Who's in the current space? What are they offering? What value do we bring? And I remember we were like trying to build it out, and that's when we said like, hey, we're gonna have this product that's gonna, sell through the roof. Um,
Oh my God. It was crazy. But
I
and
think
then
we, yeah,
I had someone sit down with me and say like the best thing ever. We had someone like consulting with us on some marketing stuff at the start. And he looked at us on like day two of working together, and he's like, so how many people are using your product? And we're like, none. He's like, have you tried to get someone to use it? We're like, sort of. He's like, you're fucking kidding me. Go sell it. Go build something that, and then go try it. Actually just sell it. See if somebody wants this thing. And so what we ended up doing, we pivoted away from earnings for a bit, and we moved into something that I actually still think is a fantastic idea. But we built out a portfolio of quantitative strategies. So basically, it was a bunch of different apps that, let's say you wanted to run an overnight risk premium strategy, or a swing trading strategy, or a momentum strategy, or like a short strategy where you're short the market, well, here's a bunch of tools you can use that will help you balance your portfolio, pick the best stocks given a number of quantitative factors that are correlated with an asset being a buy or a sell for that strategy. And this thing was on a tear. We actually, in our first week, we had 10 people using it. A couple of them are actually still in the group. Neil Gang. Yeah, Predicting Alpha. Russ was there back then, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it was phenomenal. But then, Jordan, what happened shortly after we launched?
Yeah, so it was long equity, right? And about 1 month in, the coronavirus happened. And I remember Sean and I were sitting there saying like, oh, this coronavirus, it's probably not going to be a big deal. It's going to be like any other disease that comes out and it just eventually goes away. And we were wrong. We were blatantly wrong. And a lot of people lost money. And we said, we can't have our business tied to the market.
And we actually, the funniest part was this, right? So like we had a lot of confidence in what we did, right? We still do. But the way we thought about it was we are one of the few people that can actually talk about their trades before the result because there's like logic behind it. And we actually think this thing has positive expectancy. So as a part of our marketing at the time, we decided to run the overnight risk premium strategy publicly. So every single day we would say, here's the assets we're looking at buying before the close. And in the morning, we would show the result every single day. And we packed on huge leverage. We were like 3 times leveraged on it. And we were going to see how we did over like a 1 month period. And in the first 5 days, we were up 16%. It was something absurd.
Yeah, it was nuts.
And Jordan and I are sitting there going, this couldn't go any better. And that's when coronavirus happened. And the next 2 days, all of it got erased. We were in the negatives and we're sitting there saying, are we about to like lose everything live?
No, we actually cut it at like, we cut the strategy when we were up only like 3%. So we went from like 18% up to 3% up and then we cut it. And then like a few weeks after, like it was just, parabolic to the downside.
Right. And I just remember getting into some good banter with people online about it. We definitely took some heat. It was pretty funny, man. Like people being like, you gave back some gains and you're claiming to be good?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
How can you be good? You gave back gains. I'm like, dude, you're scalping Forex pips right now. You don't know about giving back gains?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, we got a lot of heat for that.
It was pretty fun though. But that was the moment where Jordan and I were sitting there, and we were just like, what do we do? And it was actually out of that Predicting Alpha, sort of as you see it today, was born. Because at the same time, we were always focused on the option space in our own books. But, what we were trying to do at the time was build something that was like, for other people. But the piece that was missing was we weren't necessarily like really using it ourselves. So that's when we sort of realized, like, why don't we do something that we actually care about? Right? Jordan, your fund is options oriented, right?
Yeah.
Your whole life learning about options. Why the fuck are we doing something not options?
Yeah. And I remember like the guys in our group asking us as well, like, could you please teach options? Remember Kevin and Neil saying, hey, can you guys just teach us how to use options? And we were like, no, they're too complicated.
Mm-hmm. And then that's where we sort of changed. And that's when we started developing the first version of the terminal. Right?
Exactly.
And which we're still developing today.
It's still developing today. Exactly. Yeah, it's constant development. But it was really good. And Sean, did you mention that when we came out with the original product, the earnings trader,
mm-hmm.
no one wanted it.
Yeah, nobody wanted it. Yeah.
Even though we thought it was a big hit. I think that's really relatable to trading. It's like you think of an idea and you're like, okay, this is a good idea. And then you go and you gather the data, you test the strategy, and it turns out there's no alpha there. And I think in that moment is like where you can really tell if you're a trader. And I've seen it because I talk with you guys a lot, a lot during the day, and I've seen it over and over again. Some people get very frustrated and give up. right? They say like, oh, why am I doing this? What's the point? Like, what's the point of me learning the code? I'm done. Like this is bullshit, right? But it's in that moment, like there should be a little bit of frustration, but I think the trader is one that says, uh, I'm probably going to run into this problem 100,000 times during my trading career. So you got to be able to be okay with it, and propel. And I hope Margin's on this call here because
It actually is.
good. He's testing a lot of ideas, and sometimes I see him getting frustrated, but he's one of the few people that say, you know what, uh, it's part of the game.
Very good. Good job, Margin.
Yeah.
And what did we do first there, Drew? That was like the PA Academy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we did do the PA Academy first, right? Just education.
Yeah, I think it was like education with like a really basic terminal, wasn't it?
No. We first just did education. Remember, we had. Oh no, we were right. We did. We just had a super basic, shiny application, white. It was super
It wasn't
ugly.
even dark.
Wasn't even dark mode, and but the guys loved it, right? So a little bit of a backstory. The terminal that you guys see today originally started just the earnings trader tab when I was trading earnings seriously about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I actually probably started 2 years ago, and then I built that for myself. And I actually had a few clients using it during a certain period before predicting alpha, and that's kind of like when I said, maybe I should really try to scale this up, and approach Sean with it. So it was definitely a work in progress, right? Like it was just at the beginning, it was just the basics to get the job done, right? And then we realized, okay, well, users actually want something prettier, and it's like we learned so much like along the way, and some of the things were a little difficult to embrace, but they need to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sean, any like really challenging moments before like we got into like the groove of things that you found.
Uh, yeah, like, well, I'd say it's still challenging. Like, I would say because my role is more so on like the outward like education and trying to communicate what we do and stuff, and that's really hard because it's so uncommon in the retail space to think about these types of things, to think about pricing an asset, finding inefficiencies, to think like a professional gambler more or less. People don't want to think in terms of like professional betting or haven't been exposed to it before. So it's like, how do you actually show people this stuff in a way that they resonate with? And
Right.
then how do you design it in a way that somebody can come in with minimal idea of what we're talking about, but with the passion to learn and actually know where to start and be able to navigate their way through this. Right. And that's why, like, guys, like that survey that you guys are filling out, if you haven't already, please do. It's so important because, we need to, it's feedback like that that's going to allow us to go the distance. But I would say that's been the biggest challenge is really saying like, it's obviously got the goods, but how do you communicate it to someone who hasn't been exposed to it before?
Yeah, it's like that saying you have. It's like about the mathematician who is a PhD now, and so he can't he forgets what it was like to learn about logarithms. And we sit here like, you've been great breaking this down, because like a lot of times I'll sit there and I'll be like, how does our members not know what this is? How does our members not know how to use this function? Right. And I think you did a really good job of saying they don't. We need to we need to really simplify this and dumb it
Three
down.
circles of law.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of things that like I tried to explain something and it was like I couldn't fathom someone not being able to understand this. And I think Sean was really good in breaking it down and being like, okay, well, how do I understand it? And like me also like talking to Sean about this stuff really helped us dumbify, like not dumbify it, but like being able to explain it at the fundamental level.
Exactly, right. Like I think it's the big thing, like and this is why there's the terminal, there's so much beauty in the terminal is you don't need to understand how a computer is built to use a computer. You don't need to be a math wizard to understand the outputs of an equation. Maybe you do to make the equation and work the equation and stuff, but that's why we have these supports, right? Like a computer, right? So now it's more so about, it's less about like the what that goes into making it work and more about like, why are we doing this? And explaining why you don't need to be like as technical. You know what I mean? To understand like the reason why we're doing something is sometimes like explaining that can be a totally different game than trying to teach the equation.
Exactly. I think like it's like that saying in Billions. The people who know the math make money, but the people who explain the math become billionaires. Who can explain the math become billionaires. It's like the people who like can raise capital for a fund and kind of explain the strategy in a way that investors are excited to invest.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. What about you, Jordan? What do you think has been like the biggest challenge or something?
Challenge?
Or like, just throwing the question back at you.
Yeah, I think it's like targeting like our important needs, because like so one thing I've noticed is like every customer wants something a little bit different, and you can't really please them all, but you need a way to like say, okay, well, how can I like group these people together and like do something that kind of like targets targets them. I don't really know how to explain it, but
they all would say this is good,
right? And like trying to make something that is that is going to be well liked by all of them. One issue we had for sure was we didn't really ask for feedback as much, especially in the beginning, like even before the terminal feedback, all that stuff. And man, like we would spend hours designing and then building and then push it out to the market, and then no one likes it. Right. And it's like that toast. Do you want to like say that toaster analogy you have? The inventor in the
it's
basement?
like it's the inventor in the basement syndrome. It's like you're like, you're sitting there, you have this great idea. You're like, man, what's really frustrating? Having to go from the fridge to the microwave to the toaster. What if I had a fridge that had a microwave built onto the side of it and a toaster in the freezer compartment instead of a freezer, right? And you go in your basement and you spend forever, you spend 2 years building this thing. And then you come out of your basement, you go, hello world, look at this toaster oven fridge that I built. And everyone goes, what the fuck? What have you done? And you're like, you don't like it? And I thought everyone would like this. When all the guy had to do was to save himself 2 years was say, hey, would you guys like this toaster oven thing? And everyone would go, no. And he'd be like, okay, I'll go try and do something else. Exactly. But we were basically like that with the terminal, where we would be like, oh man, this would be the greatest feature ever. Let's go do it. And then slave away for months on it. And then nobody uses it.
Yeah. Exactly. I think that was one of the toughest things for sure. Yeah. That was for me personally, for sure.
Kyle's asking, what was your favorite moment?
I'd say you know what, Kyle? That's a really good question. I would say onboarding Neil. No. I don't know. Probably I remember like getting our first member was pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Getting our first member was pretty exciting. I'm trying to think, Sean, can you maybe, what has been your favorite moment?
I actually think my favorite moment was the 2 weeks where we recorded the bronze material and everything.
Right.
And then did the week-long challenge and had that whole chaotic.
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
The router in the water.
Yeah.
All of that. I think that was my favorite moment. Basically, back in like what, June last year, late June.
Yeah.
Jordan and I, so it was heat of COVID. Jordan and I aren't able to meet up to do work. We can't go to any sort of boardroom, anything to do filming, stuff like that. So Jordan has a cottage. So we decided that we would go up for what was like 3 weeks and we would get everything done. We brought, one of our buddies came up with us, Nick. He came up to film all the content and everything. And he's like some good camera equipment, things like that. So we went up there and we started filming, and that side of it went really well. The filming went great, but the problem was we had no internet up there. It was like one bar, right? Definitely not enough to be doing any sort of streaming, anything like that. And we were running our evening lives every night on it, and it was fun, but it would go down. It was choppy. But here was the big problem. Oh, well, first of all, we tried to solve this problem by we bought like a $300 portable router with that thing must have cost us $600 in the end.
I don't know.
And we really were trying to make it work. But what became a big problem was we had been publicly advertising that Jordan and I were going to be doing a huge week-long live stream on YouTube where we'd be streaming a cash account, right? We had our margin account with 100,000 in it. And it's actually still on YouTube if you guys want to go watch it. But figuring out how we were going to do this was a nightmare. It was crazy because we had gotten to the point where we had decided that we were going to live stream it from in the town somewhere.
On the water, on the bench, yeah, on the dock. In the rain.
Were scavenging for an area to be able to do this. It was nuts.
Yeah, we were like, what if it rained? We were like, oh, we'll just go and trade underneath the post or something.
Exactly.
And it was like we were like, oh, the people are gonna love how you can trade from wherever.
Exactly, right?
No, it's idiotic.
It was it was funny.
Yeah, it was.
And then we ended up doing it. We got some office space and did it there. We ended up coming back for a week to do it.
We also went kayaking. We also went kayaking down the rapids. So we were basically going down this like White Fall Rapids, right? Or Whitewater Rapids.
It was pretty aggressive, yeah.
And so we're kayaking like this going down, and there was a nice big turn I had to do, and I so silly. I had the router on me, our Wi-Fi router. I had it in the back in case we wanted to take some Instagram videos or something. And so I tried to turn the sharp, it was kind of a sharp turn. I tried to turn, and all the water just came in at me, and my kayak flipped over, and the router got totally destroyed.
Your phone got destroyed too, didn't it?
Yeah. It's just no. Samsung, it lasted. It lasted, but the router got smoked. Kyle, I'd also add to that. It was a bunch of doing PA, all the little things. All the little things like building the community, for example, and even just what we're chatting about now. Being able to and what I mean between Kyle and I about some vol stuff. It's something that I never had that when I started really. Eventually I grew into this to a community like that, but it's so nice to be able to say hey, you know what, I've helped someone be able to see vol, see what professional trading is like, and from the lens that I've learned from other professional traders. And so that was really exciting to see, and to see the growth of some of you guys is just unbelievable.
Agreed. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say too. It's if we were to talk about one moment that I thought was super exciting, it was that. But the whole thing has been sort of just evolving. The community, I think, has really been
huge.
The funnest part, at least.
Yeah.
So we got a question here from Chris. He's saying, so when do we get those quant strategies back? Soon.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll have a premium feature one day down the road, and it'll be released to everyone except for copper members.
Except for copper members. But what if they're copper members on the annual plan?
Yeah. What are we calling Chris? Now is it permanent bronze or is it copper?
Perma bronze.
Permanent bronze. Got it. That's funny, man.
It is good. It is good. I'm
You
actually
know,
I was thinking about it. I think I'm gonna make some changes to the Discord rules from like bronze. I think I'm gonna go with like the when somebody comes in on a trial, they're gonna be an intern, and then bronze will be junior analyst, senior analyst, head trader, and then portfolio manager.
I like it.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The interns.
Interns. Yeah, Sean and I would always joke around about the interns. We'd always say like we have like a balcony, a pretty good sized balcony. We said like, if we ever hire some interns, we're gonna keep them out there and just feed them through the door. Feed them
Yeah,
through
through the little sliding window.
Yeah, there's a little sliding window. We would just open it up and hand them their uncooked chicken.
All right, guys. Yeah, that's sort of the story. And then that's kind of how we got to where we are today. Yeah. So Rob's just asking here. He's like, can my Discord rank be Bill Wang?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Fitting these days, eh? All right, guys. Let's wrap up the stream there. Thanks, Ernie. I'm glad you liked it. And down the road, we'll do a part 2 where we talk about like what we see for the future of PA. But it's a good one. It's a good future. Just like the lives, it's a good one. Okay, everyone. Enjoy your weekends. No earnings today, but if you find anything else, let's chat in the group, see what ideas pop up, and we will talk soon.
Yeah, have a good guys. Make sure to enjoy your weekend. It's summer's coming out now, so get out there. Talk to the ladies, and enjoy your weekend, guys.
See ya.